The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy work schedule to attend our Google Internet Marketing Primer webinar. My name is Marilee Orsini, and I am Managing Director of Core Cubed. And we are pleased today to have two of our Core Cubed stellar employees with us who are experts in the Google Analytics and also in Google Local and Webmaster tools, and so you are in for a treat today. Just a little bit of housekeeping first. I have everyone placed on mute mode, and that is because it makes the presentation much more enjoyable for everyone who is attending because we don't hear all the background noise. So, however, you can ask questions, and we will have a question and answer session. And if you look on your GoToMeeting screen, there is a place to raise your hand or to ask questions. And if you will, if you're interested in doing so, please do that, and we will answer your questions either privately to you during this webinar or afterwards in the general question and answer session. So, so let me get started on this. And first, what I'd like to do is introduce you to Will Chatham, and he is our web manager here at Core Cube and heads up our web development team. Will's a pretty special person and has been working directly with technology since 1999 and has an incredibly broad spectrum of skills that range from web design to system administration and information security. And through his career and with Core Cubed, he has worked on many projects in many different sectors of business. So he brings a wealth of information to Core Cubed, and he's going to share some of that with you today. Our second presenter will be Tammy Brown, and she's the creative director of Core Cubed, and she's been involved with marketing really pretty directly since 1991. And Tammy also has an incredibly deep skill set, a marketing skill set that ranges from strategy to design to development. And her project management skills are sort of worldwide and widely known, I would say. And she's developed and she's managed many, many projects from a wide variety of industries, small businesses to medium businesses and some semi-large businesses. So she's known between us here at Core Cube, amongst us, and also with our clients for her creative thinking and her problem solving. And today we're going to cover two things. One is the basics of search engine optimization, and Will cover that, the search engine friendly websites, and getting started with search engine optimization so you can understand a little more about it. And then Tammy will come back in and talk about some specific Google tools, Google Places. Will also cover, before she comes in, Google Analytics and some Webmaster tools. So without further ado, Will, let me turn this over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to dive right in here, and the first thing I'd like to discuss is developing a strategy for your search engine optimization plans or efforts. And developing a strategy is a very, very key step in the whole process of any search engine optimization that you may be doing, no matter how big or how small. Without a strategy, it's hard for you to tell what is working and what's not working, and to measure the results of what you've done regarding your website. And it's also easy for you to miss out on potential things that may really help your website get ranked better in the search engines and get more traffic and get more eyeballs visiting it, which are the types of people you want to be seeing it. A strategy can seem like it may take a little bit longer than you'd like it to, but it's a really important step to kind of lay things out on paper. And you want to do things like define who you are, what your business is, what you're selling, what your services are, where you're located. And again, these may seem really obvious, but once you have them laid out, then it's kind of building a basis for you to start developing keywords and start crafting a plan for your website and how you're going to promote it and market it on the internet. So not only does it help you define who you are for yourself, but it's also going to define who you are for your visitors and who you are in Google's eyes, which we'll get into a little bit later. But that's a very, very important thing. And when you're developing your strategy, it's good to focus on something unique about your company, a niche, so to speak. Whether that's a service or a product that you offer that's unlike someone else's or unlike one of your competitors, focusing your efforts on a niche of some sort can make it much easier for you to get ranked better in the search engines and get the traffic to your website that you're after. A niche can also be based on your location, which can be very valuable for people in your area, especially if you provide, for example, services in your city to people. Targeting yourself based on your location is a wise way to go, because you don't really necessarily need to be showing up for people in San Francisco if your company is based in Miami, for example. And using location can definitely help you get your website visited by the people that are most valuable to you. And we'll also discuss location a little bit more in depth later. So some of the basics to consider during the development of your strategy and your plan. Obviously, do you even have a website? If not, then if this is the first time you're thinking about building it, then this is a very important time to be thinking about your strategy and your for the search engine optimization. And if you do have a website, how old is it? That can matter because sites that have been around longer gain more importance in Google's eyes specifically. So the longevity of your website on the internet is very important and can matter a lot in your search engine rankings. It's important to think about who made your website. Do you have access to update it yourself? Are you going to have to get in touch with that person? Do you need to find someone new to make updates? Things to consider in your strategy. And does it even need to be updated? How long ago was it designed or redesigned? How old is the content on your website? Does it look like it was made within the last 2 or 3 years, or does it look like it was something built back in the early days of the internet? The design can be very important, not only for your visitors, but also for Google. And then it's good to have a baseline of how many visitors you do currently have coming to your website, how many leads come in through your website, and are you even tracking that sort of thing? It can be very, very handy to have that as a baseline so that you can measure the results of your search engine optimization efforts later on. So it's also very important to consider your competitors and to do some Google searches and see who you might be competing with. How prominent are they already on the internet, and what kind of strategies are they using to get themselves promoted? It's good to look at that sort of thing, which can help give you ideas of how you can get up there and compete with them in the search engine results, and just to know who your competitors are in general. And how much competition is there can be very important as in regards to what path you choose to take for your search engine optimization efforts. And inbound links are very important to consider, which those are links that other websites have that point to your website. And those have a lot of significance to Google, especially when other websites are related to your website in some regard, whether it's a directory listing, whether it's an article that points to your website as a resource, or any other kind of inbound link. It's important to know who is linking to you, and it's important to figure out how you're going to get more people to link to you. And then all of this is kind of headed towards building a list of keywords, which are the words that you want people to find you with when they do searches in Google. And this is definitely the trickiest part of all of this, but it's good to start off by building a base set of keywords related to your business, related to your services or your product, and then to consider the niche aspect I mentioned earlier, to combine those keywords with either your location or something specific about your products and services. And then you'll take that keyword list and kind of spread it across the different pages of your website to help optimize each page for different sets of keywords. And it's good to think specific, again, something niche-based rather than something broad. For example, organic dog food is going to be much more specific than dog food. You'd definitely be able to get yourself positioned better for something more specific, such as organic dog food. For a location example, let's say you have a pet store in Tampa, Florida. It would be much more valuable to you to show up for search results for pet stores in Tampa than it would just in general for pet store. Someone searching for pet store may or may not be in Tampa, obviously. So targeting those niche keywords and using location-based keywords is very valuable to get those potential customers in your area visiting your website. And then implementing ways to measure results. Google offers free tools such as Google Analytics, which allow you to see what keywords people are using to find your website. And you can start figuring out new keywords based on what you see there and optimizing your pages for those keywords. And we'll go into more detail on that later as well. If your website has a contact form, or if it doesn't, you should have a contact form so that when people do send you inquiries through email, they fill out the form and you can have a drop-down menu, for example, that says, how did you find us? And you can give them some choices such as through a Google search or by word of mouth, or I saw your ad in a paper. But getting a baseline of how people are finding you is very important so that you can measure these results and see what's working and what's not. And then just training your employees and yourself to ask people that call you or just foot traffic that comes through the front door, how did they hear about you and how did they find you? And that helps give you an overall sense of whether or not what you're doing on the internet is working. So implementing the strategy, I'm going to go over a couple things here. The first of which is pleasing Google and making sure that Google finds your site and can index your site. Indexing refers to when Google sends out their spiders, as they're called, to look through your website and index all of the content, the keywords, and everything that it can find on your website. And you want to make that as easy as possible for Google to do so that you stand a better chance of it finding all of your pages, finding your keywords, and then using those to help promote you in search results. And then, again, measuring the results is a crucial part of all of this. And I'll go over some of Google's tools, which are free to use and help you measure those results and improve upon them. So some of the nitty-gritty things that you want to do for pleasing Google are having unique page titles on each of your web pages on your website. Let's say you have a 5-page website with a home page, about us, contact us, services, and testimonials, for example. It's important to have unique titles on each of those pages. So your About Us page would say something like about our services in Tampa, Florida, for example. Your home page would say your company name and maybe some of your specific unique services or products that you offer. But having different page titles is important to Google. They like to see that each page has its own meaning, which in turn allows you to use keywords on each page that have something to do with that meaning. And that's a tag that is HTML-based, which is in the code of your actual web page. And another one is the description tag. The description meta tag is what it's called. And that's where you enter just a brief paragraph about what that page is about. So if it was your home page, for example, you'd say, my company called mycompany.com or whatever, is a pet store in Tampa, Florida. We provide unique gifts for dogs, for example. And you want to use some strategic keywords in those descriptions. And the meta description actually shows up when someone does a search in Google for example, for pet stores in Tampa. When they see the search result, they'll see the title of your page and then the short, brief, descriptive text underneath it. And if you've done any searching on Google, you've seen that before. Keyword-rich URLs that are clean are very important to Google as well. For example, mycompany.com/organic-dog-food is a much better URL than would be mycompany.com/page3.html. Not only is it easier for your visitors to read and remember, but it also has keywords in it, and Google likes that, and it can be another avenue for you to help promote those keywords in the Google search engine results. Submitting a sitemap is very important. Not only is it a good idea to build a sitemap for your visitors, which a sitemap being a page which shows hierarchically all of the pages on your website and makes it easy to see everything that's there and to find what they're looking for in case they get lost for some reason. But also Google likes to see what's called an XML sitemap, which is kind of a page of code that does the exact same thing for Google that a human sitemap would do for a human. It lets Google know what all the pages on your website are and make sure that Google is aware of them and can easily get to them to index the content on those pages. Navigation is not only crucial for your visitors. You want it to be easy for them to find whatever it is they're looking for with a minimum number of clicks. So you don't want to bury things, several pages down. You want every page on the website to be easy to get to no matter where you are on the website. And not only is that good for your visitors, but again, that's also good for the Google spiders that are crawling your website. If they get lost or frustrated, then they tend to leave your website just like a human would. So a good navigation is important, and that can also tie into a good design, something easy to figure out. Frequently updated content is also a very important thing to have if possible, and that's where a weblog or a blog comes in handy, which allows you to make updates on recent news about your company or press releases or any kind of articles you find interesting related to your industry, for example. And being proactive in blogging and taking advantage of social media tools such as Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And then also video, if you have any kind of short video clips or a commercial spot or anything that you can post onto your website, there are certain ways to do that that Google likes and can help your website greatly in the search engines. If you do have a video on your homepage, for example, oftentimes when someone does a search in Google and your site comes up, they'll actually see a little thumbnail of that video, and that sticks out to people, and that can definitely help you get positioned better in the search engines. So a little bit about measuring results using Google Analytics. Again, Analytics is a tool that Google provides that all you have to do is sign up for a Google account if you don't already have one. If you have a Gmail address, then you have a Google account, and you just go to the Google Analytics page and activate it. And you submit your website, and Google will give you a little snippet of HTML code, which you will then need to take and put in at the bottom of every page of your website. And there's some simple instructions in the analytics settings for doing that. But that code is very important to be on every page of your site so that Google knows about those pages and then can track the visitors to your website, how they got there, how long they stayed, what pages they visited, and then you're able to see those results and see reports on all of that, which can help you measure the results of your search engine optimization and tweak them and make them better. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you an example here of what Google Analytics looks like once you have it set up on your website. And we've kind of blocked out the names of some of the pages that you're about to see just to protect the privacy of our clients. But this is a site that over the course of about a week got 221 visits. Out of those visits, 759 pages were viewed. The average pages per visit was 3.4. The bounce rate was very low. It's 2.26%. And what that refers to is the number of people that show up on a website and then leave without looking past the page that they landed on. And then also it shows the average time on the website. It was about 2 minutes per visitor. And the percentage of visitors that were brand new and had never visited the site before was at 67%. So that's just kind of the overview of what you would see if you have Google Analytics running on your website. And you can view different periods of time. You can adjust that data to show you different results by day, by week, by month, etc. There is a whole lot of stuff here that Google Analytics can do, but these are just some of the basics I'm going to go over. So one of the most important things to look at in regards to measuring your results is the traffic sources. And what we're looking at here are referring sites. So this is a list of other websites that refer to your website. And this was tracked when someone clicked on a link on another website and landed on one of your pages. And you can see down in the list of 1 through 10, a lot of the 4 of the visitors were from Google.com, and those would be actual Google searches someone did to find this website. PR Newswire links to it. There was a press release most likely that linked to your website or this website. And this is very important to check because you can get an idea of who's linking to you, whether or not they are in your neighborhood, so to speak, whether or not they have something to do with your service or your industry. And it gives you a good sense of how people are finding you. Okay. There we go. So this, the keywords page is also very important. It lets you see what keywords people are using to find your website and what they actually typed into Google before seeing you in the search results and clicking through to your site. The example here is from a very technical website full of technical articles and whatnot, so some of this may look kind of strange to you, but it shows you a good example that, for example, number 5 here on the list, Cacti Fedora, 9 people found this website through searching for that term in Google. And the graph at the top shows you kind of the traffic flow day by day of keywords and how they came into your website. Okay, go to the next one. A little bit about Google's Webmaster tools. This is another service that kind of ties in with Google Analytics, and it too is free. And once you have your Google account, you can visit the Google Webmaster site and submit your site and verify that you own it, which is a pretty easy thing to do. Google will walk you through that. So the Webmaster tools are kind of more of on a technical level, a way for making sure that Google recognizes your site, it knows about all of your pages, it is not having any problems accessing your pages, and if it does, this is where you can go to find out what kind of problems there are. And on this page, you have another kind of overview of search queries people use to find you, keywords that they used, and the number of impressions and clicks that came from those keywords. Also other domains that are linking to you. It's kind of another version of Google Analytics here, but once you dig inside of the Google Webmaster tools, you'll see more of what this was geared to do, and we'll take a look at that on the next slide. As you can see on the menu on the left, there are a number of tools you can use here. Under site configuration, you have sitemaps, which is where you would submit the location of your XML sitemap that you have created for your website so that Google knows where it is. And the crawler access will show you the last time Google visited your page and when it indexed all of your content. And that can be a good thing to know, just to make sure that Google is able to find your page and that it is accessing it, and you can see how often it comes back. Site links would be links from other sites to your website. You can do things such as change of address if you change your domain name and that sort of thing. Under the Your Site on the web part, the search queries is kind of what I was just showing you, the keywords people are using to find you. More links to your site would be the inbound links, what the actual text of those links was, and the actual page that they came from. Just some overviews on keywords. But for me, the most important part of Google Webmaster Tools is here under the diagnostics. And it lets you see what kind of errors that the Google spiders came across when they visited your site, such as a page that wasn't found that you were linking to, or some bad HTML code which prevented the Google spider from indexing a page. And then it'll show you what those actual errors were so you can go fix them and make sure that there are no problems the next time the spider returns to your site. The malware link is useful if you think your website's been hacked. Google can determine that, and that's probably a discussion for another time, but hopefully that has not happened to you and will not happen to you. So just sort of to recap here, we went over some of the basics of search engine optimization, starting your strategy for your search engine optimization efforts, using that to develop a list of keywords, and making sure that your site is friendly for Google, that it's Google's happy when it comes there, it can find all your pages, can index all of your content. And I showed you some of the analytics basics and some of the Google Webmaster Tools basics. And now we're going to go into a little bit more about Google Places and location-based searches, and I'm going to let Tammy step in here and discuss that with you.
Thanks, Will. Another tool, like Will said, that exists within the Google software that is free is the one called Google Places. And that is the one that whenever you're doing searches on the internet and when the map comes up, those listings associated with the map.
Tammy, I just lost your audio completely. Will, can you hear?
I can hear.
You can hear Tammy?
No, I can't hear Tammy anymore.
Oh. Hello?
There she is.
Yes, there you are. Thanks. Sorry, we lost you right at when you start talking about Google Places.
Oh, okay. With the Google Places account, which is another free tool within the Google suite of tools, that is the one that whenever you do searches on the internet dealing with products or services in your local area, when the listing comes up associated with the map, that is a Google Places listing. And in today's SEO world, that is very important to have because really local SEO is very popular right now in trying to get your site listed organically, which is what Will was going over, but also locally. And what you need to do is go into Google Places and see if you already have a listing. Google searches business directory sites and will pull listings and create them for existing businesses. So if you find that your business does have one, you need to claim it. If you have already claimed it and you've been working on it, you need to check it frequently and keep it updated. And if you don't find one, when you go search for your listing, then you can create a new one. So like I said, the Google Places is a business listing page within Google's map service. And so the image over to the right with the map with the markers, if you see those when you're doing searches on Google, then all of those sites with the markers that is the Google listing page, or the Google listing itself. I'm going next. And this is just a screenshot of when search is done in Google. And this is the way that the map shows up is when there is a local search term associated with the product or service you're looking for. So if I just had searched on dog groomers, a map would not have come up. So putting the town that I live in or the area that I'm looking for specifically for a particular service is bringing up the map. And so the top of the search engine page on the page 1 is first going to be the Google Places listing. So that is the map with all the associated listings that are available and how they've ranked. And then after that initial set of Google Places listings is the organic listings, and that's where everybody in the past has tried to get their site ranked very high. But now, with this Google Places movement, you are able to get your site up further by really enhancing that Google Listings page, or the Google Listings site, and get you up on the top page there easier than you would if you would have just solely done organic search engine optimization. And so if you're asking yourself if you need a Google Places listing, I would say absolutely yes. In today's search engine technology, you absolutely do. Google states that 1 out of every 5 searches on Google is related to a location, so that means in those instances a Google Places map is showing up. Again, if it's a generic term, the map will not show up, but given the fact that there's 2 billion searches every day, then that would be 400 million local searches that are conducted by people looking for things in their area. Having a Google Places listing is going to help you rank higher on the page. Plus, the real benefit is getting the quicker targeted search results and getting more targeted traffic to your website. So in those cases, it's not always a numbers game of how many people are coming to your site, but what are the good ones that are coming through, the ones that are actually looking for your product and service. And you're going to have a higher conversion rate on those because they're actually searching on what you're offering in the area you're offering it in. And the listing also will display the company contact information, and it links to your site. And if needed, then it can provide driving directions to your business. And so people can call right from the contact information as a result of the search, or they can click into your actual site and get that contact information. When you're setting up your Google Places listing, the mandatory things that you have to have, which will be verified by Google, either by way of a phone call or a postcard, you have got to have your business name, and that needs to be your full business name. It needs to be as descriptive as possible. So try not to use acronyms or shortcuts because that is an important criteria in the search. Of course, your business address, the phone number that someone who's verifying the listing can reach you at. So it can't be like a voicemail or an automated phone system. It has to be a number that someone actually, can talk. Your email, business description, and business categories. And until that information is filled out, your listing will not be verified and it will not show up. In addition to the basic information on the listing, where a lot of people fall short is not taking advantage of all the areas within the listing of putting like the complete information that they can about their business. And so things of business hours, your payment types, really getting into what your service area is, you can either do it like a mile radius from your location, or you can go put zip codes or towns associated with the map, and so you can really fine-tune exactly what that service area is, which is going to be important when people are searching in those areas that encompasses your service area, because your listing will, over time, start coming up in those areas. Photos and videos, again, like just to reiterate what Will had said, Google loves the videos right now. By putting photos and or videos in your listing, those thumbnails are going to show up in your listing and make your listing stand apart from others who are not doing it. And then where you can really get creative and help with the searches is there's a section in the listing for details, which can be pretty much anything you want it to be. And that's where you can list your services or products. You can put web links to your site to direct them to specific pages to get more information. You can put your benefits and features of your service or product, or pretty much anything that you feel is important for someone who would be landing on your listing page to learn more about your business, to then contact you to do business. Once you've got your listing created, next you want to definitely work on getting that so it increases in the rank on the local searches. And this is the proven, or below are some proven methods for getting that done. First and foremost is get that listing 100% complete. When you're working your listing, you're going to see a little marker that will tell you the percentage complete that the listing is. Keep working your listing until you see that it's 100%. You'll be amazed at how many people don't even claim a listing, but if they do, they just keep the basic information and don't take advantage of the power of what you can do with a Google Places listing. Definitely upload videos and photos to your listing. As you're putting in your business description or those detail factors, use keyword-rich terms that are widely searched on within your industry for your product or service offering. Get that full service area incorporated into the listing. Again, very important for searchability within your service area. Encourage your customers to post reviews on your listing. The more reviews that your listing has, and then of course the video and photos, and the more complete it is, then the higher your ranking becomes. And so reviews are a big determining factor in the ranking spot of those local searches. And then increase the backlinks to your website by submitting to other local business directories. Same as what Will said, very important overall with the searchability of your site, but also applies to this local search tactics. The reviews, this is just an example of a site that has reviews, and not only is your Google listings page going to pull reviews that were put direct into your listing, but it's also going to go to other business directories where you are listed that you may have reviews. So again, very powerful tool that this listing page is very comprehensive and brings together a lot of information for someone looking for what your business does. When you are in your account and you're on your dashboard, you'll see a tab for offers. Very few people take advantage of this. It is free, but you can offer coupons, discounts, kind of an incentive type of offer to get people in to your business or call your business. And so you go to the offers page, enter your information, and then at the bottom of the screen that shows you what an offer listing does look like on your page. In addition to the offer, you can also put your like a attention getter kind of statement on your listing. And this can be things maybe you want to bring attention to a promotion or something new that's on your site, things that you want people to be aware of to get them in on other places of your site, again, to engage. So at the bottom there, that shows what the listing would look like, or the post would look like in your listing. Once you've got your Google Places listing fully completed, your next step is you want to go look for more local business directories, definitely in your area. They could be national-based and/or local-based. If national-based, you definitely want to get it honed into your service area. The more local business directories you can be in, that creates those backlinks that are very important for your site, for the ranking, both for local searches and for overall. Plus, the way Google is using this local search technology right now is the more local listings you're in, the more that helps rank your site, because Google is looking at it from the analytics standpoint of, yes, you are in that area, yes, you do service in that area, and this is the business that you do. So it's more confirmation just in the Google listing profile itself. It just enhances the importance of that. And so as you find these local business directories to post to, use your information that you did for your Google Places listing to populate those local business directories. They will not be as robust as what the Google Places is, but where you can copy and paste, as much as you can, because consistency among these listings is key. And then here's just a brief example of local business directories. There are a ton more, but just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what these were. And if you have more than one location and/or more than one business, you can have multiple listings in your Google Places account. And again, thinking the name of the game right now is local searches. The best way to handle that is to have a unique page on your website, like a location page or contact us page specific for that location, and then you optimize that page within the Google Places listing. So instead of sending someone to your home page, you want to send them to that specific location page. And you would do that for each of your business locations. And once you got all the Google ones done, then you would also want to do the same thing for your for the local business directories. Google Places does offer some reporting, and just like with the analytics, reviewing that on a regular basis, and over time learning what that means and will help you better make decisions on your site or in your Google Places account and or your local directories to make tweaks as needed. And so you're going to get like an overview report, and once you click in, you actually get how many times your listing showed up and then how many times someone acted on that listing. You're also going to get a breakdown of like the total times you showed up, but then did people click on more information? Did they go for driving directions? Did they go straight into your website? You've also got your top search queries, keywords, so and where were people looking for the driving directions from? So that may help better hone in maybe areas you want to focus on more with your business directories, or get more locations in on the Google Places. So using that information and couple that with the Google Analytics and the Webmaster Tools data, that is going to give you information that you need to go and make tweaks on your company website as well as the Google Places account.
Just as a recap for this entire webinar, Tammy, thank you so much, and Will, thank you so much Basically, we're talking about revitalizing a stagnant website, making it easier to update the site yourself, getting better search engine positioning, and getting more traffic to your site, which I think we talked about some of these things today. Now, I would like to open this up for question and answer if we have any. I do not have any questions yet from the audience. You all must have done a fabulous job, Will and Tammy, because I don't have any questions. I'm going to give it just a minute. If you do have a question in the audience, if you would like to ask it, go to the screen on the right-hand side and basically just type it in, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. This is Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools and Google Places are all things that you really do need to know if you expect for your site to be found. And I've got a question here that says, what was the list of free directories again? I'll go back to that in just a minute. If you have more than one business at the same street address, how do you handle this with regard to Google Places? Tammy, while I'm going back to the directory listings, do you want to talk about if you have more than one business at the same address and how you would handle that?
Well, I'm assuming that would be two different websites. So when you are creating your Google Places listing per business, you would have a unique phone number per business. I think the only common denominator would be the physical address. So I don't think that would be a problem getting that verified with Google, but I don't think that's an uncommon thing these days to have multiple businesses. So as long as you have a unique website and a unique phone number, then I would say you definitely can have a Google Places per business.
Okay. Okay, the second, can I download this presentation is the other question. We are going to have this available. I have recorded it, and it will be available on our Core Cubed website on the events section shortly after this presentation. So you can definitely access it again. And here's another one. We have unique phone numbers and unique websites, but the same street address. Google Places combines them. There's no question that's a statement. So I think Google Places is specifically for places, so you may not be able to use it to its fullest extent if you have just one location. Would you say that, Tammy?
That could be possible, but I do know that there's a way for you to not show the address. So maybe, and that would be something that you could contact Google on. You can go to their help screens while you're in on Google Places or any of their tools, really, and submit questions. And they usually do respond within 24 hours.
That's good. I know we also have some attendees on the call who don't have local businesses whose businesses basically span the whole country. So Google Local is really, I don't think, good for those unless you have some specific locations that you can designate around the country.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it is Google Places, like you said. So there has to be some local location that you're setting up, for, within that. But trying to maybe, like, if you have employees in certain areas or addresses in other, is it just one address for your national base, or are there multiple addresses? So trying to, strategize and figure out the best way to take advantage of this Google Places phenomenon right now is a good thing.
Right, and Google Analytics changes all the time, so this is something that you really do have to keep up to date with, and we do try at CoreCube to keep as up to date as possible. There's a question here: when it's available on the website on CoreCube, can the slides be printed? I don't think so. I think you can listen to the presentation and look at the slides, but I don't think it's a video presentation, so I'm pretty certain it doesn't translate itself into into having the slides. Let me mention to you now that we do have another webinar slated for December the 29th, and Will Chatham, our web manager, is going to do that, and he is going to talk about going mobile, which is really where a lot of people are getting their information, is on their mobile phones or smartphones. So, it is, this webinar will be at 1 p.m. on December the 29th. You can sign up on our events page on the CoreCube website. We also have past webinars stored there, and as you can see here, we will also have today's recording. So just so you know, CoreCube does a lot of work in WordPress, and we also, have a complete WordPress expertise here. So we definitely suggest that if you do not have a site in WordPress or in a content management system, that you do convert to that, and we do that a lot and are very good at it. You can keep your same design, or we can totally redesign it. We do maintain websites and help people keep up to date with things and update all versions and plugins. So a pretty full-service web design company and internet marketing company. And this, we have a spanning the spectrum of marketing needs. We do have all types of assistance we can provide you. Any of these listings we've talked about today. We can do regular updates. We have a full contingent working with social media, and we do write and help maintain blogs and create them. So all manners of design and marketing services we do actually provide here. So I did get one other question that just came in. It says our company focuses on rural areas exclusively. Is there a way that I can focus on rural areas only? And I can answer that question. You can't, this is not focused, what we're talking about today with the Google Places is your listing locally. It's not specifically targeting market to rural areas, but there are ways to do that, and there are certainly ways to do that through Google and through search engine optimization, but that's really a pretty specific question, and I'd be glad to answer it offline. So, and that really ends the questions and ends our webinar today. Tammy and Will, do you have anything else that you'd like to say, or would you like to comment on anything I've said?
No.
I don't think so. Thank you guys for attending.
Yeah, good. I ditto that. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we hope to see you on our next webinar, and come visit our CoreCubed.com website. Thank you very much, and have a great week. Bye.
Bye.